Hello YouTube, welcome to the second video of how I edit my outdoor portrait. On the first video I talk about how I make basic corrections inside of camera raw, and then how I make my color corrections inside of the camera raw. So on this second part of the video we are going to open the image inside Photoshop and see how we can go over editing the image. So without any further ado, let's open the image and see what are the steps we will take in editing this image inside of the Photoshop. Alright, here we are with our image inside of Photoshop. But before I start editing my image, what I usually do first is I'll go over to my original layer and press Command and Control J to duplicate it so that I can easily reflect to where I start from. So it's on this copied layer that I will work on my image. So for this image, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to start by doing some cleansing. Let's zoom into the image. So we first start cleaning this particular, I can't really see what it is, but it's kind of look distracting on the image. So I will first start by doing content aware to it, and then I press Command or Control D to deselect, and then this shader as well, and then I do content aware to it as well. Alright, and then we'll press Command or Control D to deselect. So let's zoom out our image. Alright, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to remove this softbox that happened to appear on my image. The reason is I always bring in my softbox as close as possible to my subject, because the closer the light, the better the skin texture. And then we are going to do content aware to the softbox as well. As you can see. Alright, here we are, and then we'll press Command or Control D to deselect as well. So let's zoom out and see. Alright, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to crop our image to 4:5 aspect ratio, as it is the default aspect ratio of social media like Instagram, because most of these images are going to Instagram and the rest. So we are going to head over to our crop tool, and then we make sure we are selecting the 4:5 aspect ratio, and then we crop the image to our taste. So as for me, let me see, I think basically this is how I am going to leave this image, and then I hit enter. But notice we are having this negative at the left and right hand side of our image. So for us to fill this negative space, what we are going to do is we are going to head over to our marquee tool, and then we select the left part first, and then we do content aware to it. Alright, this is good, but if you notice we are having like imperfection below here and then above here as well. So what I'm going to do to this area is let me try using clone stamp, and then I sample by holding Alt and click, and then I stamp and get rid to this imperfection. So let's move to the button and see what we can do and fix this area. So I think the best thing to do is I'll just duplicate the layer by pressing Command or Control G, and then I go back to my marquee tool, I select this side, and then I press Command or Control T to transform, and then I hold Shift, and then I drag this particular area, and then I hit enter. But notice there is like kind of stretch that's kind of visible, and I don't really like that. What I'm going to do is I'll press Command or Control D, and then I add layer mask to the layer, and then I press Command or Control I to invert and hide the layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my normal brush and reveal this particular area that I'm having issue with. So let's do before, after, before and after. I think this is okay for me, and then I select these two layers, and then I right click and go over to merge layers. So let's do before and after. As you can see, we have fixed the left part of our image. So for the second for the right part of our image, let's go back to our marquee tool, and then we select the negative space on the right hand side as well, and then we do content aware and see what we can get. Wow, this is not that good. Let me see what we can do. Let's press Command or Control D and take a look at the area. As you can see, it's not that good. So what we are going to do is we are going to press Command or Control ZZ and look for alternative way to fill this gap. So let's go back to our marquee tool as well. So this time around, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch the area by pressing Command or Control T. That's transform, and then I hold Shift and then I drag and fill this side, and then I hit enter. Then we press Command or Control D to deselect. So let's do before and after and see. As you can see, before and after. So we are done filling the negative part on the left and right hand side of our image. So what we are going to do next to this image, we are going to head over and do some skin work. That's frequency separation on our skin. So we are going to head over and play the frequency separation action 16-bit, since we are editing 16-bit image, as you can see over here. So let's go over to our frequency separation action and hit the 16-bit frequency separation action. Alright, and then we take down our radius to the level where we cannot clearly see our skin texture. So for this image, I'm not going to need too much, so basically around 3.6.7 is okay, and then we hit OK. For the frequency separation, I'm going to fast forward because the video is already getting long and I have already done some tutorials on how to do frequency separation. So you can check on my page on some of the tutorials I have made, and I will even put a link under the description of this video on for some of the videos that I did concerning frequency separation. So after the frequency separation, the next thing we are going to do to this image, I think we have to make the sky a little bit more dramatic because it's kind of too plain to my liking. So let's close the frequency separation layer, and then we go over to our stocks and see which of the sky are we having that will fit this image that we are editing. So let me move to my stocks, and then I jump to, I think I have a folder that contain sky. All right, here it is. And then among these images, let me see which one will fit this image that we are editing. Let me open up this folder. No, so I think let me try this particular image and see how it goes. So let's open up our image, our Photoshop back, and let's scale the sky layer and see how we can make it fit this image. Let me shift it up a little. I think this is okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add layer mask to it, and then we go over to our gradient tool. So for our gradient tool, we are going to make sure our foreground is black, and then we start dragging from the bottom to the top, as you can see. So we are kind of cleaning the sky from the bottom, leaving the top part of the sky, as you can see. Like everything seems okay, but I don't really like the way it's kind of appearing on her hair. So in situation like this, I think it's better if we move to our brush tool, and then we make sure our foreground is black, and then we slightly brush over the hair, as you can see. I think this is okay. Before and after, before and after, but we are going to need to work on the sky color because it's kind of looking somehow above. So what we are going to do is we are going to go over to our adjustment option here, and then we go to our hue and saturation. But before we start, we have to make sure we clip the hues and saturation layer to the sky, so that whatever we touch here, it will only affect our sky. So what we are going to do is we are first going to take down our saturation. As you can see, it's blending. Maybe you should try something around 55. Alright, 54 is kind of good. And then we touch the hue to somewhere around 20. 26 is nice. So let's close and do before and after and see. After, before and after. This looks good. Let's try touching the blue in particular and see if it can be, if you can make it any better. So for the blues, let me try taking the saturation down as well. -100. Alright, -100 looks better, and then let's brighten it up a little so that it will blend with the brightness of the sky. So somewhere around 33 is nice. I think basically does it. So let's do before, after, before and after. As you can see, the sky has added some drama, have made the sky a little more better compared to without the sky before and after. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is, let me see. Alright, sorry, for the sky, let me see if I can bring back this side. Maybe it's look better. As you can see, I think this looks better. Alright, before, after, before and after, but I need to clear this part of her hair. Like we are having some issues over here, so this is okay. Alright, before, after, before and after. This is okay to me. So the next thing that I'm going to do to this image, let me move over to the eyes and brighten it up. So we are going to play our white eyes and teeth action over here, and then we go over to our normal brush. We make sure our foreground is white, and then we brush on the eye and make it brighter and better, as you can see. Okay, alright, this looking good. Let me do Command Z. So let's go back to our black foreground and undo some areas which we shouldn't mix, which we shouldn't brush our white brush on. As you can see, no, Command Z. sorry, and then we zoom out. Before, after, before, and after. I think we should take down our opacity to around 50. Before, after, before, and after. This is okay. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to like uh darken her hair a little bit because it's kind of too bright to my liking. So we are going to go over to adjustment options and go to our curves, and then we take our curves down, as you can see, just a little of it, and then we press command or control I to invite and hide the effect, and then we go over to our normal brush. We make sure our foreground is white, and then we brush over to our hair and make it darker and better. As you can see, it's actually a little of darkness we are adding to the hair. So if you want it to look even more darker, we can just simply come over to our curves and then we push it down a little more. So let's do before, after, before, and after. Like it's too much, so let's control the opacity and take it down a little. Like this better. Before, after, before, and after. Let me brush this side as well. Alright, this is nice and better. Alright, let's take the opacity down a little more. Before and after. So I think the next thing we are going to do to this image is we are going to go over and add a lot to the image and see how it can go. So we just go over to adjustment option here and then move over to color lookup, and then we go to load 3D lots and navigate to where we kept our lot. So as for me, it's on the desktop inside this particular folder, presets/lots, and then we move to Apuse and select this melanin lots and see. Wow, this kind of look good. Before, after, before, and after. This is absolutely nice for me, but it's always better to try all the available options we are having, because you might skip the best of your options unknowingly. So always try all the available options you have and settle to the most preferred option you have. Alright, let's try the last one. I think I will still go with the first option that I first choose. Let's zoom out a little and see. Before, after, before, and after. I think we have to take the opacity just a little down to like 80. Before, after, before, and after. This is really nice to me, but one of two things that I think I forgot to do is to add some level of blurry to the sky, because you can't leave it this sharp. So we have to go over to our sky layer here, and then we head over to our filter, blur, and then we add some level of Gaussian blur to the sky, since we are having blurry on the background. So we can't leave our sky sharp as it's looking. So I think somewhere around this 20 is okay. So let's hit OK and see. So as you can see, before, after, before, and after. This looking more realistic than before. And then the second thing that I think we should have done is let's bright up the teeth, because we have to do it at the same time with the eyes. So just going to use our normal brush with white foreground and then brush over the teeth. So always be careful while editing, because you may forget something that definitely needs you to come back and fix it. So let's zoom out and see. So let's zoom out. So for the teeth before, after, and then for the sky before and after. I think this image is looking super good and okay, but only if we want to add something to the image and take it to the next level. So I think if we are going to do that, maybe we just need to add some stock images on the foreground and see how it goes. So to do that, let's just head over to our stock folder over here, and then we navigate to where we keep our stock. I think I have some realistic stocks, so let me try begin with this particular stock. So let me adjust it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I will just go over to edit, transform, and then I flip it horizontal, and then let me zoom out, and then let me see if we can keep it somewhere like this. Let me see. Alright, this seems nice, but let me take it down a little more. Okay. Alright, this is nice. And then let me see if we can add one more stock to the image. Let me see. I think we can add this third one and see how it goes. If it is okay, fine, then we make use of it. If it is not, then we check and look for a better one. So for this, I think we are just going to take it down. Something like okay, I think something like this is nice, and then we hit enter. But as you can see, the color of the leaves are off. So how are we going to fix the colors of the leaves? Is by going to our adjustment layer, and then you go to hue and saturation, and then we begin with the leaf by the right hand side. So what you're going to do is, we are going to clip the hue and saturation layer to the leaf layer, and then we take down the saturation, maybe somewhere around negative 70 to 80 will be fine. So let's leave it on 80, and then we make it a bit darker, somewhere like 20. All right, 22 will be fine. And then can we just play with the hue and see if it will look better? So somewhere around 26 is nice. So let's do before and after and see. Before, after, before and after. As you can see now, the color of the leaves is close to the color of the green trees behind her. So this is nice. And then for the other leaf, let's select it, and then we as well go to adjustment, hue and saturation, and then we clip the layer to the leaves layer so that we control the leaf independently. So let's take its saturation down as well. Maybe somewhere around 60 will be fine. Alright, let's leave it on 64, and then we make it darker as well to somewhere around negative 20, 24. Alright, this is nice. And then we also play with the hue to somewhere around 24. Alright, this is nice. As you can see, the color of the leaves are now like looking the same before and after, but I think it's better if we add some level of Gaussian blur to the leaves by going to filter and then blur, Gaussian blur. Alright, 20. Alright, let's boost it up a little, maybe just somewhere around let me take it to like 23. Sorry, 24 seems too much. Alright, let me type the figures. Let's try 22. Alright, 22 looks better, and then we hit enter, and then we add the same 22 to the other leaf by the right hand side. Alright, go to blur and then Gaussian blur. No, this seems too much for this leaf, so let's take it to somewhere like 20, and then we hit enter. So I think this is okay. Let's not do too much, let's just keep it as simple as possible as we can. So let's do the overall before and after and see the image at its original state, and then compare it to the level where we took the image. So just go back to our original layer, and then we hold Alt and then unclick and see before, after, before and after. So basically that's just the process of editing this outdoor portrait. If you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe, as it makes a huge difference in supporting the channel. Let's meet in another video.